The former U.S. ambassador for international religious freedom says the Chinese Communist Party is in its waning days. He says that because of the CCP's increased harshness and brutality, as well as its pervasive high-tech surveillance. The International Religious Freedom, or IRF Summit, took place in Washington on Wednesday. There, former American IRF Ambassador Sam Brownback told the Epoch Times that Beijing is showing a sign of weakness with its war on faith. He says the Chinese regime is on its last legs because it's become more brutal instead of more liberating, and that it's using bullying tactics rather than cooperation. Brownback says the most abused human right in the world today is the freedom of religion.
We need to reach out to governments and cultures alike and say that freedom of faith is the way forward. If we don't have religious freedom for all around the world, we will have the clash of civilizations, full of death and carnage, and you can see it setting up now.
The ambassador said that countries once looked away from Beijing's human rights abuses for fear of offending the regime, but now they're starting to speak out. What's more, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo questions Biden's priorities with respect to China.
To date, the current administration indicated its central focus with respect to China, and indeed the rest of the world, may well be in something like climate change, relegating religious liberty to a side issue. This is unfortunate. In my view, it is foolish, and it would be a grave mistake to prioritize climate change at the expense of allowing religious oppression to fester and grow throughout the world.
The Biden administration did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Another speaker at the summit was Republican Representative Chris Smith of New Jersey. He says the current CCP leadership is persecuting religious believers at a rate not seen since about 50 years ago.
As I think many of you know, Xi Jinping and the Chinese Communist Party have exponentially increased persecution against religious believers, including Christians. I want to do a shout out to Bob Fu, Pastor Bob Fu, for the great work that he has done. But they're also persecuting Muslims, Tibetan Buddhists, ongoing and Falun Gong practitioners in ways not seen since Mao Zedong's Cultural Revolution.
The regime's persecution of Falun Gong practitioners started on July 20th, 1999, and just ahead of the 22nd anniversary, Brownback gave the following message to adherents of the spiritual practice: "Don't give up the fight."